G'day guys, you're back with MiracleMAX. Welcome. Today a customer has brought in an iPad which has some serious colour issues. Let's have a look at it. So the customer has told me this happened after it was dropped on the ground, and we've got all those colour issues, some strange things going on. It's not an unusual fault, and the fix is quite, generally speaking, quite easy. First things first though, we'll need to pull the screen off to access the connectors that I suspect. If you're trying to identify an iPad number, the model number is written on the back. In this case it is a 1385, which makes this an iPad 2. You can go onto the Apple site and you can identify either your iPad or your iPhone or whatever you need to. Not that that makes a difference for our particular exercise, but just a bit of information to pass on. So I've now powered this off. We can now pull off the front screen to access the connectors. As you can see, the screen is not actually cracked or anything like that, so I'm taking a bit of a gamble being able to get the screen off without actually damaging it. First thing I need to do is heat up this area so that hopefully the adhesive will release. Just keep in mind that of course you've got your home button here, your Wi-Fi section is in here, camera up here, buttons down that side, etc. So you've got to be fairly careful. I've got this particular tool with a iPhone repair that I was doing. I haven't used it before, so yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Hey, I'm going to start over here and see what happens. You've got your aluminium housing there, of course. You want to be able to separate that if possible, and then just sneak your spudger or whatever you're using in behind that. So this has been damaged, of course, where it was dropped on the ground. Might be able to sneak a plastic one under there. Just nice and careful. Just take it nice and slow. Hopefully nothing cracks. And come up to the camera up the top now, not going in too far of course, and of course this plastic bezel will need to be replaced. They're pretty much knackered once the heat hits them. Just keep in mind you've got your switches around this area, volume and I can't remember the other one, but yeah, don't apply too much heat and just don't go in too deep with your removing tool here. Never have too many guitar picks, they don't have to look attractive, but as long as they hold it up, otherwise all that work that you've done is for nicks. So you've just got to make sure that that adhesive doesn't pull down again. Around the corner, heading home toward that camera. Just as I said, just be aware that the camera is there, you don't want to damage it with your removing tool. It's nice and slow. She's a bit floppy. It's not looking too healthy, is it? I have to get one of my other ones, I think. That's a bit sad, hey? My bad. Too much heat, perhaps? There we go, that's looking good. Pop! Of course, there's a couple of areas that are probably still a bit stuck, but we'll get them off shortly. Just carefully wiggle it around and lift it up and down a bit. Looks like it's at the other end actually, probably on our bezel, as I said. Remove those, remove that. Now I think some of these have wiring on this side, I believe, so I'll just have a peek inside and see what I can see. Okay, yeah, the wiring's just over here, so I do have to be careful, but this side has just got a bit of adhesive stuck, that's all. This particular model should open like a book. That's the theory. I might just have to put something under that, I think, because they can put a bit of stress on the cable itself. Okay, so we just rest it against that. Alright, so in this particular case we have 1, 2, where are we? 3 and 4 screws that need to come off, and that will get the actual video screen off. This is our digitizer, this is our video screen. So we need to check the connections, which are hidden underneath. 4. We should be able to lift up our video screen now and get to the connectors that are underneath. And of course it's important to hold your tongue a certain way too, just off to the side. That always helps. There we go. That will be connected down here somewhere. Okay, there we go. They have a little spring-loaded clip that needs to come off. There we go, just like that. That should wiggle out now. You may have to get that adhesive holds down the tape itself, so don't yank on the wire, but just gently pull the connector out. We can put that to one side now, of course. Keep this super clean, guys. You don't want any scratches or anything like that on it whatsoever. Might be a good idea even to wrap it in some rags or something like that to keep it nice and clean. Now, one of the main problems with these when you end up with those colour distortions is this connector comes in here and it comes loose. So when it hits, the connector sort of comes ajar a little bit. So I'll be pulling that connector out and reseating it, and then we'll set it up again, and just before we put it all back together, hopefully that may fix it, unless it's damaged this cable in through here when it was dropped. And then you pop your latch back over again, hear it click, you pop your screen down, and we see if it's made any difference whatsoever. We can fire it up at this point, it won't matter. And if we power it up, there we go. So there's a nice crystal clear picture. I'll probably have to get another bezel. I don't know how bad this one is. The tape's pretty much knackered, so I'll get some more tape, perhaps another bezel. The bezels are only worth a few dollars, and they do get damaged when you heat them, so I might just get another bezel. But yeah, looks like we've solved the problem, which is awesome. Here's the bezel I've removed, and as you can see, like when you heat them up, they tend to get a bit distorted, so I've chucked on a new one there. And of course I've also used, I actually bought the adhesive sections and put them into place as well. I've already done that, so that has cut down the time. You might be interested to note how the digitizer works in relation with the video screen underneath. I've just turned it on for now, but I just want to show you how the digitizer works. They're two separate units entirely. They're not even physically related at all. But we'll just wait for that to boot up. But notice it says slide to unlock there, and I can actually do that just on the digitizer itself. You watch this. Hang on, press my home button there. Oops. My on button at the top. Here we go. But watch this, slide to unlock, and I can, if I can aim properly, I can put in whatever the password may happen to be. But you can see they're not related at all. The digitizer is designed for your fingers to be touched here, and the video screen is simply an interpretation or a monitor of the information that you put in here, very similar to a keyboard and mouse. All I have to do now is screw in my video screen, and then carefully clean everything, make sure it's absolutely spotless, and then place my digitizer in the correct area. You can see here I've got the double-sided tape in place. I just need to peel the backing off of that so that I can sit it down, and hopefully she's all good, hand it back to the customer. Just keep in mind, now is the only opportunity that you'll have to get rid of any fingerprints or anything like that on both the screen and the inside of the digitizer. So spend quite a bit of time. I've cleaned this already, but just to give you an idea, make sure that there's no fingerprints on that video screen. You will be able to see them. Sometimes they don't show up too much because of the light that's in there. They sort of disappear a little bit. But look for any bits of dust or dirt. Make sure your microfiber material is in clean condition, good condition, and when you're finished with it, give it a good clean afterwards. There's different techniques for cleaning it. which you can probably find on the net. And of course, don't forget the inside of the digitizer. Now you'll probably see fingerprints showing through, but that may be from the other side. If you're not sure about anything, just flip it over and touch the area that you're unsure of, and you should see whether it's a fingerprint on the inside or the outside. But I'm pretty happy that I've got everything nice and spotless, and I should be able to just pull off all my double-sided tape paper here, and then that in turn should be able to flip it over and put it into place. Now this can be quite a time-consuming process to get all this backing paper off your double-sided tape, but just take your time and make sure you don't rip up the double-sided tape as you come through. I'm just using a pair of tweezers that should in fact make the job easier. Just keep in mind over here you'll see two little risen sections, two little bumps, and they get located into here and here around the camera area. So it's a good idea to, when you lay it over, to make sure that these are located and then work around from there to there and then push down gently so that all the adhesive sticks. As we fold it over, just be aware that the ribbon cable is here. You don't want to crimp that at all. So you of course keep in mind these locating pins. Flip him over like that. Locate those two little pins and then check underneath to make sure that your ribbon cable has been pushed in. That's nice. Keeping a firm pressure on our locating pins here, we can just gently move that around and make sure that our bezel is fitting into place. Sometimes it'll take a bit of pressure and a bit of wiggling and moving and all sorts of stuff. This bezel, because it's been damaged, it may take a little bit of effort to get that in, but you can see where it's been damaged on the side here, can't you? So that bezel may require a little bit of effort to get it into place. The rest looks okay to me, so I should be able to just gently push it down. Just try and gently massage it into place. So the next best thing that we can do is just put some tension on it. So perhaps put some books on it, etc., which I've done in the past, showed you guys. Just be careful, obviously. The goal is just to have that adhesive stick, not to put too much pressure on the tablet itself. And of course these damaged corners create quite a problem. Let's just see if it works firstly. That's the important thing. Look at that. Slide to unlock. Whoops. And I don't know their password at this point. It's kind of irrelevant, but there we go. Looks pretty good. And once I'll leave this overnight with some pressure on it, with some books sitting on top, and make sure that all that adhesive sticks into place. There we go, it's sat overnight with some pressure put onto it to make sure that the adhesive sticks in place. I'm happy with the results. Just make sure that you clean the screen before you give it back to the customer. You don't want all your dirty fingerprints all over the place. It's not very professional. I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. We've been able to bring back to life an iPad that was pretty dodgy at the time. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, give it a like, and feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to give that little notification bell a bit of a ding, just so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Until next time, this is MiracleMAX signing off. I'll catch you later, guys.